My husband Warren drained our daughter's college fund, every last penny of $262,000, and disappeared to Costa Rica with his mistress Lisa. I literally collapsed on the bank floor, hyperventilating, thinking my twins' entire futures just evaporated. The security guard had to help me to a chair while the teller avoided eye contact. What I didn't know was that while I was falling apart, my 17-year-old daughters Kimberly and Stacy had been quietly tracking Warren's every move for months. And the digital trap they built? It was already closing around him. If you've ever been blindsided by the person who was supposed to have your back, hit that like button and subscribe. You need to hear how two teenage girls outsmarted a narcissist and got perfect revenge without breaking a single law. Click the subscribe button and tell me in the comments where you are watching so I can send you a hug. Your support helps us bring more mind-blowing stories, and trust me, you wouldn't want to miss them. The nightmare began on a crisp October morning in suburban Connecticut, the kind of autumn day where the air smells like wood smoke and possibility. I was standing at the polished counter of First National Bank, practically glowing with excitement as I smiled at Mr. Henderson, our longtime bank manager who'd known our family for 12 years. I had come to make a withdrawal, $5,000 for a surprise that had been months in the planning. In my purse were glossy brochures for Princeton and Stanford, campus tour schedules highlighted in yellow, and reservation confirmations for hotel rooms near both universities. My twin daughters, Kimberly and Stacy, were turning 18 in 3 months, and I wanted them to see these campuses now, to walk those historic paths and imagine themselves there. Kimberly with her robotics projects and perfect physics scores. Stacy with her psychological analysis papers that made her teachers cry. I slid my driver's license and debit card across the granite counter, feeling that warm swell of parental pride that never gets old. Warren and I had sacrificed for nearly 18 years to build that 529 college savings account. Every birthday check from grandparents, every tax refund, every bonus Warren earned selling luxury cars at the dealership. It was more than money. It was our promise that our daughters would never start adulthood crushed under debt the way we had. Mr. Henderson adjusted his wire-rimmed glasses and began typing on his keyboard, nodding slightly as he worked. Then his fingers stopped. His eyes narrowed. He tapped the enter key 3 times. Click, click, click. A sound that suddenly seemed deafening in the quiet marble lobby. He leaned closer to his monitor, squinting. Then he looked up at me with an expression I'd never seen on his kind face before. It was confusion mixed with something that looked terrifyingly like pity. "Mrs. Carter?" he said, his voice dropping to the hushed tone people use at funerals. "There seems to be an issue. The account is showing closed." I laughed. It came out as a short, nervous bark. "That's impossible, Mr. Henderson. It's a 529 plan. We haven't touched it in 8 years except to deposit. Your system must be glitching. Can you refresh it?" He rotated his monitor slightly away from me, as if shielding me from a traffic accident. "I'm looking at the transaction history right now, Carolyn. The entire balance, 262,780, sir, was liquidated yesterday afternoon at 3:47 p.m. The funds were transferred to an external account, and then the profile was closed approximately 10 minutes later." The room tilted. The vaulted ceiling of the bank seemed to compress downward, pressing the air from my lungs. Liquidated. Transferred. Closed. Those words didn't connect to anything real. That money was Kimberly's MIT robotics dreams. It was Stacy's Stanford psychology program. It was untouchable, sacred. I grabbed the edge of the counter to keep from falling, my knuckles bleaching white. Who? My voice cracked. I swallowed and tried again. Who authorized this? That account requires dual signatures and verification codes. Mr. Henderson looked down at his hands, unable to meet my eyes. The authorization came from the primary account custodian, Warren Carter. Your husband came in personally yesterday afternoon. He provided his driver's license, social security number, and all security passcodes. He told our teller it was for an urgent private investment opportunity that required immediate action. I felt all the blood drain from my face, leaving me cold and weightless. Warren, my husband of 20 years, the man who coached the girls' soccer team when they were 8, the man who framed every report card, the man who told everyone at his dealership that his daughters were going to change the world. He had taken it. He had taken everything. My phone. I needed my phone. I fumbled for it in my purse, my fingers shaking so violently I dropped it on the marble floor. The crack of plastic on stone made several customers turn to stare. I snatched it up and dialed Warren's number with trembling hands. Straight to voicemail. I tried again. Voicemail. With mounting dread, I opened our joint checking account app. The balance glowed on the screen. 0.0. I opened our savings account, the one we kept for emergency house repairs. 0.000. I checked my personal credit card. The available balance that had been $50,000 yesterday now read 0.0. Account maxed additional charges, pending $23,000. I stood there in the middle of the bank, surrounded by people making deposits and opening accounts and conducting normal Tuesday morning business. And I realized with perfect crystalline clarity that I wasn't just broke. I was hollowed out, gutted, erased. Mr. Henderson reached across the counter toward my hand, but I jerked away. I couldn't breathe. The walls were closing in. I had to get home. I had to see Warren. I had to hear him explain that this was an error, a misunderstanding, a nightmare I'd wake up from. I ran out of the bank, leaving my transaction slip on the counter, my purse hanging open, one of the college brochures fluttering to the floor behind me. The drive home to our neighborhood was a blur of red lights I barely saw and horn honks I barely heard. I drove on pure instinct, my mind replaying the last 2 weeks like a horror movie where all the clues were suddenly, sickeningly obvious. Warren had been distant, yes, but he said it was stress from the new sales quotas at the dealership. He'd been showering at night instead of his usual mornings. Just feel grimy after being on the lot all day, he'd said. He'd bought 3 new suits. Client meetings with the luxury buyers, he'd explained. He'd been staying late at work. Paperwork, he'd claimed. The signs had been there, flashing in neon red. But I'd been too busy working double shifts as a nurse practitioner to see them. Too trusting. Too stupid. I pulled into our driveway, gravel crunching under my tires. Warren's Lexus was gone, the parking spot just an empty rectangle of oil stains. The house looked normal from the outside. The lawn Warren had mowed 3 days ago was still neatly edged. The pumpkins I'd arranged on the porch steps last weekend still sat in a cheerful line. But when I unlocked the front door and pushed it open, the silence that greeted me was wrong. It wasn't the quiet of an empty house where people would return soon. It was the silence of a place that had been abandoned, evacuated. "Warren!" I screamed, my voice echoing off the hardwood floors. My purse dropped from my shoulder and hit the ground with a thud. "Warren, answer me!" I ran through the kitchen. Empty. The living room. Empty. I took the stairs two at a time, my heart slamming against my ribs. I burst into our master bedroom and immediately saw it. The closet doors, Warren always closed them obsessively, were hanging wide open. Warren was a man who prided himself on appearance. He owned 37 dress shirts organized by color. He had a collection of 15 watches displayed on a velvet tray. He had a humidor with $2,000 worth of Cuban cigars he'd been collecting since our honeymoon. I walked slowly to his side of the walk-in closet, dread pooling in my stomach. The shelves were bare. Every hanger empty and swaying slightly in the air conditioning draft. The watch tray, gone. The shoe rack that had held 20 pairs of Italian leather shoes, empty. The humidor, vanished. Even his cologne bottles had been cleared from the bathroom counter, and there, on his pillow, was a small white piece of paper, folded once. I picked it up with shaking hands and unfolded it. 2 sentences, written in his neat handwriting. "I deserve happiness. Don't try to find me." That's when I sank onto the floor, note crumpling in my fist, and the screaming began. I don't know how long I sat there on the bedroom floor, my throat raw, my face soaked with tears. Long enough that the autumn sunlight shifted across the hardwood. Long enough that my phone buzzed 17 times with messages I couldn't bear to read. And then I remembered. Instagram. Warren rarely posted, but Lisa was always posting. Warren's colleague from the dealership, the 28-year-old sales associate he'd mentioned exactly twice in casual conversation. With trembling fingers, I opened the app and typed her name into the search bar. I sat on the bedroom floor, Warren's note crumpled in my shaking fist, staring at my phone screen through blurred vision. My throat felt stripped raw from screaming. The autumn sunlight streaming through the window seemed obscenely cheerful. I tried calling Warren again. The generic voicemail greeting that replaced his usual personal message told me everything. "The number you have dialed is no longer in service." I opened his contact card. Send message. The blue bubble turned green. He'd blocked me on iMessage. I switched to regular text. Message failed to send. Email. I opened Gmail with trembling fingers and typed, "Warren, please. The girls. Talk to me." The response was instant. Delivery failed. "This email address does not exist." He'd deleted everything, erased me like I was malware. My chest constricted. I couldn't breathe. I needed to know, needed to see proof that this was real, that my husband of 20 years had actually done this. Instagram, the app I barely used but kept for the girls' robotics team updates. I opened it and typed Lisa Mendoza into the search bar. Her profile appeared immediately. Public, of course. Lisa never met a moment she didn't broadcast. Her profile picture showed her in a red bikini, champagne glass raised, that practiced influencer smile. I clicked on her feed and my heart stopped. The most recent post was from 4 hours ago. A glossy sunset photo, pink and orange sky, turquoise water, palm trees swaying. Lisa stood on a beach in a white sundress, barefoot in the sand, holding a frosted cocktail with a little umbrella. Her head was thrown back in laughter, and there, undeniably, was Warren's arm wrapped around her waist. His watch, the Rolex I'd saved 6 months to buy him for his 45th birthday, glinted in the sunset light. His hand splayed possessively across her hip. The caption punched me in the stomach. New life, new love, no baggage. Sometimes you have to leave everything behind to find yourself. Fresh start, Kalat, Costa Rica, dreaming, hala, living my truth. Warren was tagged. Warren Carter Luxury, an account I'd never seen before. Private. The comments section was a nightmare. You go, girl, you deserve this. Living your best life. So proud of you. That's what I'm talking about. Chase your happiness. Beautiful couple goals. I lurched to my feet and barely made it to the bathroom before I vomited. Everything came up. The coffee I'd had at breakfast, the granola bar I'd eaten in the car, bile and horror and 20 years of my life. I was still on my knees, gripping the toilet, when I heard the front door open downstairs. Mom? Kimberly's voice called out. We're home. We got second place in... Mom? Footsteps pounded up the stairs. I tried to stand, tried to wipe my face, tried to look like something other than a woman whose world had just imploded. The twins appeared in the bathroom doorway, Kimberly in her robotics team jacket, Stacy still holding her competition binder. Their faces shifted from excitement to alarm in a heartbeat. Mom, what's wrong? Stacy dropped her binder and knelt beside me. Are you sick? Should we call... Your father... The words came out as a sob. I couldn't stop shaking. Your father... The college fund... It's gone. All of it. He took everything. He's in Costa Rica with her. I watched my daughter's faces, waiting for the devastation to hit them, bracing to catch them when they fell apart. But something strange happened. Kimberly and Stacy locked eyes for just a fraction of a second. Something passed between them. Not surprise, not shock. Something that looked almost like confirmation. Mom, Kimberly said, her voice suddenly calm, controlled. Sit down. We need to tell you something. Stacy stood and walked to the bedroom door. She closed it quietly, deliberately. Then she turned the lock with a soft click that seemed to echo in the silent room. Both girls returned and sat on the floor in front of me, their expressions unreadable. Mom, Stacy said gently, stop crying. We need you to listen very carefully. Kimberly opened her laptop. Before Kimberly could open her mouth, my phone buzzed violently in my hand. The screen lit up with a name that sent a jolt of desperate hope through my chest. Evelyn Carter, Warren's sister. Evelyn, I answered, my voice cracking with relief. Thank God. Warren emptied everything and disappeared. I need help. The girls' college fund, our accounts. He took it all. I don't know what to do. Can you... We know. Her voice was ice, flat, matter of fact. The bedroom seemed to tilt. You... What? We know, Carolyn. Warren told us 3 weeks ago. He explained everything. I couldn't process the words. They didn't fit together. 3 weeks? He told you he was going to... He told us he was leaving. That he'd met someone who made him happy. That he deserved a fresh start. Evelyn's tone carried no sympathy, no shock. Nothing but cold dismissal. Warren deserves to be happy, Carolyn. You've been cold to him for years, distant, working all those night shifts, never making time for him. Lisa makes him feel alive again. My shock crystallized into white-hot rage. He stole from his children, Evelyn. He drained their entire college fund. $262,000 meant for Kimberly and Stacy's futures. It's not stealing. He's the primary account custodian. Legally, it's his decision. She said it like she was reciting something Warren had coached her to say. Besides, the girls are smart. They can get scholarships or take out loans like everyone else. That's what normal people do. In the background, I heard other voices. Warren's brother Paul, loud and arrogant. Tell her Warren's finally thinking about his future for once. Aunt Mildred's nasal voice. Those girls are smart enough. They'll figure it out. And Uncle Franklin, laughing. About time Warren stopped being a doormat and did something for himself. The realization crashed over me like a tsunami. Warren's entire family, the people who'd come to our home for Thanksgiving, who'd held my daughters as babies, who'd smiled at our wedding, they all knew. They'd known for weeks, and they'd supported him. Evelyn, I whispered, my voice shaking. How could you? Don't call here again, Carolyn. Warren's moving forward with his life. I suggest you do the same. The line went dead. I stared at the phone, my hands trembling so violently I nearly dropped it. Even his family. The words came out as a broken sob. They all knew. 3 weeks. They knew what he was going to do, and they helped him. I turned to my daughters, tears streaming down my face, expecting to see their devastation mirroring my own. Instead, Kimberly calmly placed her laptop on the bed between us. Her expression wasn't shocked. It was focused, determined. Stacy's voice cut through my spiral, eerily calm and controlled. Mom, stop crying. We need you to listen very, very carefully right now. I wiped my face with shaking hands, confused by their composure. Girls, I don't understand. Kimberly opened her laptop and turned it to face me. On the screen was a folder labeled Project Safeguard, started 147 days ago. Mom, Kimberly said, her voice steady as steel. Dad didn't beat us. Stacy leaned forward, her eyes blazing with quiet intensity. We beat him, and he doesn't even know it yet. Kimberly clicked the folder open. Inside were dozens of subfolders with clinical labels, network logs, financial tracking, behavioral analysis, legal consultation, portal construction. 147 days ago, Kimberly began, we noticed Dad's behavior shift. Stacy picked up the thread seamlessly, like they'd rehearsed this. He started showering at night instead of mornings. He bought new cologne, Tom Ford, expensive, not the Old Spice he'd worn for 15 years. He was constantly checking his phone, tilting the screen away when we walked by. I saw him FaceTiming late at night, Kimberly continued, opening a video file. You were working overnight shifts at the hospital. I came downstairs for water around 1 a.m. and heard him in his office. The angle was wrong. He was holding the phone low, hiding the screen from the doorway. I could hear a woman laughing. The video showed a timestamp, June 3rd, 1:14 a.m. Grainy footage from what looked like a hallway camera captured Warren at his desk, phone in hand, grinning like a teenager. That's when we started investigating, Stacy said. She opened a document filled with timestamps and behavioral notes. I cataloged everything. Spending patterns. He started buying lunch at expensive restaurants on weekdays. Mood shifts. Irritable with us, distant with you, but constantly smiling at his phone. Conversation topics. He stopped asking about our robotics projects. Stopped talking about family vacation plans. Kimberly pulled up another screen, a network traffic monitoring dashboard. I installed monitoring software on our home router. Every device that connects to our Wi-Fi, I can see every site they visit, every login, every message sent through web-based platforms. My jaw dropped. You can see everything? Everything, Kimberly confirmed. That's how I discovered the affair. Dad was using WhatsApp web on his laptop. I intercepted the sessions. It was Lisa from his dealership. They'd been seeing each other for 8 months. She clicked through screenshots, messages between Warren and Lisa, increasingly intimate, planning their escape. My stomach churned reading Warren's words. Soon, baby. Just need to liquidate the assets first. But it wasn't just the affair, Stacy said, opening more files. Dad had secret investment forum accounts. He was on these offshore wealth forums bragging about his exit strategy. She showed me posts from a user named Freedom Seeker 45, Warren's birth year. He talked about cutting dead weight and starting fresh where your past can't follow you. That's when we found Fraley, Kimberly said, pulling up email exchanges. Thomas Fraley, an offshore investment advisor. Dad had been consulting with him for 5 months about moving money to Costa Rica, setting up accounts his family couldn't access. I felt like I was watching a crime documentary about strangers, not my own life. How did you... You're 17. 17 and paying attention, Stacy said quietly. We've been planning for college since we were 14, Mom. We knew exactly how much was in that 529 account. We checked it every month, and we knew Dad was the primary custodian. Kimberly pulled up a spreadsheet that looked like something a forensic accountant would create. Color-coded cells tracked money movements across multiple accounts. 3 months ago, we realized Dad was going to drain everything. The pattern was clear. He was liquidating assets slowly, testing withdrawal limits, researching tax implications. A legal battle would take years, Stacy explained. Courts move slowly on 529 disputes, especially when the custodian can claim educational investment opportunity. We'd be 23 before we saw a penny, and by then, Dad would have spent it all. Kimberly met my eyes. So we decided to build something better than a lawsuit. We decided to make him steal from himself. What? I breathed. Stacy's smile was sharp. We found out Dad had been investing, or thought he was investing, in a scam called Escobar Coastal Properties. Pre-construction luxury condos in Costa Rica. The site was already fake, but Dad didn't know that. He thought he'd found a secret wealth opportunity. Kimberly turned her laptop around, showing me a sleek, professional-looking website. Escobar Coastal Properties. Elite VIP investment portal. We built this, she said simply. An identical clone. Every pixel, every security certificate, every testimonial. But this one routes funds exactly where we want them to go. I stared at my daughters, my brilliant, terrifying daughters, and felt something shift inside me. Horror that they'd carried this burden alone. Awe at what they'd accomplished. We needed you in the dark, Mom, Kimberly said gently, so your reactions would be genuine. Dad watches you. If you'd known, he would have sensed it and changed his plans. Stacy clicked a button. The fake investment portal loaded, showing an account dashboard. Warren's name at the top. Account balance, $340,127.50. That's not real, Stacy said. But Dad thinks it is, and that fake profit is what made him drain everything else. Pure greed. My hands were shaking as I pointed at the screen. Where did the money actually go? Kimberly's smile was triumphant. Grandma Deborah's name. An irrevocable educational trust, federally protected. The moment Dad transferred the college fund to our VIP vault, it locked into a trust account he can never, ever touch. So the money is? I couldn't finish the sentence. Safe, Stacy confirmed. Not just safe, Kimberly added, her eyes blazing. Untouchable by Warren. Forever. Let me show you exactly how we did it, Kimberly said, pulling up a timeline. 3 months ago, I was monitoring Dad's browsing history and found him on an offshore investment forum called wealthmigration.net. The twins walked me through it like detectives presenting a case. Stacy explained, Dad had stumbled onto a scam, Escobar Coastal Properties. It promised 400% returns on pre-construction luxury condos in Costa Rica. The site looked legitimate. Professional photos, fake investor testimonials, even a customer service chat that was probably some guy in a basement in Moldova. Dad didn't know it was a scam, Kimberly continued. He thought he'd discovered a secret opportunity. That's how these work. They make you feel like you're part of an exclusive club. She showed me the original Escobar site, archived. It did look convincing. Aerial photos of tropical coastline, architectural renderings, glowing reviews from investors with stock photo faces. That's when I had the idea, Kimberly said. If Dad was already falling for one fake site, why not build a better one? Better meaning? I asked. Better meaning we control where the money goes, Stacy clarified. We spent 6 weeks building a pixel-perfect clone of the Escobar site. Kimberly handled the technical architecture. I handled the psychological engineering. Kimberly walked me through the technical details in terms I could understand. I mirrored their entire site structure, copied their design, login sequences, security certificates, even their investment dashboards. I created fake investor testimonials using AI-generated faces and names. I built a backend that showed fraudulent profit projections that would update in real time. The psychology was my part, Stacy said, pulling up a series of emails. I crafted messages designed to appeal specifically to Dad's ego and greed. Subject lines like, exclusive VIP upgrade, limited availability, and your account qualifies for elite tax-free status. She showed me the emails, professionally formatted, using urgent language and artificial scarcity. I studied persuasion psychology. Dad's a salesman. He's vulnerable to sales tactics. I created FOMO. I made him feel special. The delivery mechanism was crucial, Kimberly explained. 3 weeks before Dad drained the accounts, he received an email that looked like it came from the real Escobar Properties. It claimed his original account had a security breach and instructed him to transfer all funds immediately to a protected VIP vault for safety. But that vault was actually, I prompted, an irrevocable educational trust controlled by Grandma Deborah, Stacy finished. We consulted with 3 different lawyers while building this. Everything we did was legally compliant. We never promised returns. We included all required disclaimers. The trust is legitimate. It's registered, federally protected, and specifically designated for our education. Kimberly pulled up the fake dashboard Dad had been seeing. After he transferred the college fund, we showed him artificial profits. His $262,000 looked like it had grown to $340,000 in just days. That's what made him max out the credit cards and drain your savings. He thought he was winning. And the real money? I asked again, needing to hear it. Sitting in an educational trust that requires both Grandma Deborah's signature and a judge's approval to access, Stacy said. It can only be used for our education, tuition, books, housing. Dad can't touch it. His lawyers can't touch it. It's protected by federal law. I stared at my daughters, these two 17-year-old girls who'd built a digital trap sophisticated enough to fool a grown man. You did all this while getting straight A's and competing in robotics tournaments? Ethics and technology matter to us, Mom, Kimberly said quietly. We could have done something illegal. We could have hacked his accounts directly, stolen the money, but we didn't. We built something that was perfectly legal and perfectly just. Stacy squeezed my hand. Dad chose to steal from his children. We just made sure he stole from himself instead. If you're watching this and thinking these girls are absolute geniuses, hit that like button right now and subscribe to the Formidable Revenge channel. Because the family drama that comes next, you won't believe how it ends. Drop a comment telling me what you would have done in this situation. 2 days after Warren transferred the college fund into the twins' trap, aggressive pounding shattered the morning silence. It was 7 a.m. on a Saturday. I was making coffee, still processing everything the girls had revealed, when fists hammered against our front door. I opened it to find Warren's brother Louis, Aunt Mildred, and Uncle Franklin standing on our porch, faces twisted with anger. "We know what you did, Carolyn," Louis snarled, pushing past me into the house. "Warren told us about your theft." "My what?" I stammered, backing up. Mildred jabbed a finger at me. "You hacked his investment account and stole over $250,000. That's federal fraud, Carolyn. You're going to prison." Uncle Franklin crossed his arms, blocking the door. "Warren's talking to lawyers in Costa Rica right now. Real lawyers. You're done." They pushed further into my living room, their voices rising, overlapping, shouting about family betrayal and protecting Warren's rights. Louis got in my face, close enough that I could smell his coffee breath. "Return the money by Friday," he threatened, "or we're filing a police report. You'll lose custody of those girls. You'll lose everything." I felt myself shrinking under their assault, 3 against 1, their voices battering me from all sides. My hands started shaking. They were Warren's family. They had lawyers. They could... "That's interesting, Uncle Louis." The voice came from the stairs. Kimberly stood at the top, phone in hand, face calm as glass. Stacy appeared beside her, holding a tablet. "Because we have recordings," Stacy added, her voice carrying none of the fear I felt. The twins descended the stairs with eerie synchronization. Louis, Mildred, and Franklin fell silent, watching them approach. Stacy tapped the tablet. Audio filled the room, crystal clear, damning. Evelyn's voice. "Warren told us his plan 3 weeks ago. He's leaving Carolyn for Lisa. He deserves happiness." We support him completely. Paul's voice. Tell her Warren's finally thinking about his future. Those girls can take out loans. Warren's done enough. Mildred's voice. I told Warren to drain everything and go. Life's too short to be miserable. Lewis's face went from red to pale. Franklin's arms dropped to his sides. We also have text messages, Kimberly said, scrolling through her phone, where all of you discussed helping Warren hide assets from Mom. That's conspiracy to commit financial fraud. We've already shared everything with our attorney. The silence in the room was deafening. Franklin cleared his throat. Warren said, he said you stole from him. That Carolyn hacked his investment account. Dad doesn't even know where the money went, Stacy said. Want to hear his latest voicemail to us? She didn't wait for an answer. She pressed play. Warren's voice, strained and desperate. Girls, I swear I'll get the fund back. There's been a technical error with my investment platform. Don't listen to your mother's lies. She's trying to turn you against me. I'm fixing this. Just give me time. The three family members exchanged glances. Understanding dawned on their faces. They'd been lied to. Used. You should leave now, Kimberly said quietly. They left without another word. No apologies. No explanations. Just a silent retreat to their cars. The door closed. I stood frozen in the middle of my living room, and then my knees gave out. But this time, I wasn't collapsing in despair. My daughters caught me, and I pulled them both into my arms. These fierce, brilliant girls who'd protected our family when I couldn't. I'm so sorry you had to do that, I whispered. We're not, Stacy said. We're Carters. We protect each other. 5 days after Warren transferred the money, a message appeared on my Instagram. It was from Lisa's account. Carolyn, I need you to stay calm. There's been a temporary hold on Warren's investment account. He'll have everything sorted in 48 hours. Please don't panic or do anything rash. I showed the message to the twins over breakfast. They exchanged knowing smiles. He's panicking, Kimberly said, opening her laptop. She pulled up the fake Escobar portal's back end, the real control panel that showed Warren's actual activity. He's tried to log in 47 times today. I looked at the screen. Every login attempt showed the same message. Security verification required. Your account is under review for unusual activity. Estimated resolution, 7 to 10 business days. Thank you for your patience. He still believes the money exists, Stacy observed. That's the psychology of scams. Victims cling to hope even when evidence suggests otherwise. That night, my phone rang. An unknown number with a Connecticut area code. Hello? Carolyn? Warren's voice strained and defensive. I know you're upset, but you need to trust me. This investment is legitimate. There's just a temporary security hold. The twins had coached me on what to say. I kept my voice confused, hurt. What investment, Warren? You abandoned us. You left a note telling me not to find you. I'm building our future. His voice rose, irritated. The returns are incredible. When this clears, I'll triple the college fund. You'll see. I'm not the bad guy here. The bank said you closed the account yourself, I said quietly. It's complicated. Look, just don't talk to lawyers yet. Give me 2 weeks. I'll fix everything. The line went dead. 3 days later, Lisa's Instagram went dark. Every photo deleted, account set to private. but Stacy had been monitoring it. I got this before she deleted everything, Stacy said, showing me a cached screenshot. Lisa on a beach with a different man, younger, tanned, muscular, her arm around his waist. The caption, now deleted. Temporary fun is still fun. She's jumping ship, Kimberly noted. She probably sensed something was wrong with Warren's investment. That same evening, my phone exploded with texts from Warren. Lisa left. Something's wrong with the investment. I can't access the account. Carolyn, please. I made a mistake. I need help. The investment company won't answer. Where did the money go? Carolyn, answer me. I didn't respond. The twins had been clear. Silence was its own message. They spent that evening preparing the final evidence packet for our attorney. Network logs, transaction trails, Warren's incriminating messages, the fake portal's legal disclaimers, proof of the legitimate trust structure. He's exactly where we need him, Kimberly said, organizing files, desperate and exposed. At 3 a.m., my phone vibrated on the nightstand. Unknown international number. I sat up, heart pounding. Through my bedroom door, I saw lights flick on in the girls' room. They'd been waiting for this. I answered, "Hello?" And Warren's world finally, completely shattered. Carolyn. Warren's voice was barely recognizable, shaking, broken, stripped of every ounce of confidence I'd known for 20 years. Please, I need help. He was sobbing. Actual, choking sobs that made the words tumble out incoherently. The account's gone, all of it. The portal. It's fake, Carolyn. There's nothing. I have $400 in my pocket and nowhere to go. I sat up fully, turned on my bedside lamp. Through my open door, I saw Kimberly and Stacy already awake, standing in the hallway in their pajamas, listening. Warren continued, words spilling out in a desperate rush. Lisa took $35,000 from me before she left, said it was her exit fee. She knew something I didn't. She knew this was going to collapse. I called Escobar Properties. The numbers disconnected. I went to the address listed on the site. It's a closed souvenir shop, Carolyn. Boarded up. Abandoned. His voice cracked completely. I'm stranded here. The hotel kicked me out yesterday. I sold my Rolex, my 45th birthday Rolex, for $200 to a guy on the beach just so I could eat. I have nothing. The girls entered my room silently. Kimberly sat on one side of me, Stacy on the other. We listened together. I destroyed everything, didn't I? Warren whispered. Our family, the girls' future, us, 20 years, all gone because I thought, yes, I said, my voice like ice. You did. How do I fix this? His desperation was palpable even through the phone. Tell me how to fix this. I'll do anything. I'll come home. I'll apologize. Kimberly gently took the phone from my hand. Dad, she said, her voice calm and measured. This is Kimberly. Let me explain what actually happened. Silence on the line. Then, Kimmy, baby. The investment portal was fake. We built it 3 months ago. The silence stretched so long I thought the call had dropped. That's not possible, Warren finally whispered. Kimberly continued, methodical and precise. We knew you were planning to steal the college fund. We monitored everything. Your affair with Lisa, your offshore consultation with Fraley, your activity on wealth migration forums. every message you sent planning your escape. You're 17 years old. Warren's voice was barely audible. Stacy took the phone. Dad, it's Stacy. When you transferred the $262,000 to the VIP Elite investment account, you actually transferred it to an irrevocable educational trust controlled by Grandma Deborah. No. Warren's breathing became ragged. No, I checked everything. The security certificates, the investor credentials, the testimonials. We built those too, Kimberly said, taking the phone back. Every pixel, every fake testimonial, every fraudulent profit projection you watched grow on your dashboard. We created all of it. Warren's breathing turned rapid, panicked. You can't do this. It's illegal. It's fraud. I'll sue you. Actually, Stacy interrupted. We consulted with 3 different lawyers while building the portal. Everything we did was perfectly legal. We never promised returns. We included all required disclaimers. The trust is legitimate and federally protected. You, however, Kimberly continued, committed multiple counts of financial fraud, identity theft, and breach of fiduciary duty. Mom's attorney has a 40-page evidence packet. Network logs, bank records, your messages to Fraley, screenshots of you bragging online about cutting dead weight. We'll see you in court, Dad, Stacy finished. Wait. Warren's voice rose in desperation. Please, you can't. I took the phone back. For 20 years, this man had been my partner, my husband, the father of my children. Now he was a stranger begging from a beach in Costa Rica. Goodbye, Warren. I hung up. The 3 of us sat in silence for a long moment. Then, unexpectedly, I started laughing. Not hysterically, just a pure, clean release of months of tension I didn't know I'd been carrying. The twins joined in, and soon we were all laughing together in my bedroom at 3 a.m., the sound of Warren's world collapsing still echoing in our ears. When did you 2 become criminal masterminds? I asked, wiping tears from my eyes. Kimberly smiled. When our father decided to become a criminal. 6 weeks later, I sat in a Connecticut Superior courtroom with Kimberly and Stacy on either side of me, our attorney at the table. Across the aisle sat Warren, back from Costa Rica, looking nothing like the polished man who'd abandoned us. His suit was wrinkled. His hair needed cutting. His face was gaunt. He'd retained a public defender. Warren's family, who'd so enthusiastically supported his fresh start, were notably absent from the gallery. Judge Marilyn Henderson presided, a woman in her 60s with steel-gray hair and a reputation for no-nonsense rulings. She'd reviewed our evidence packet in advance. Warren's attorney stood, attempting damage control. Your Honor, my client was the victim of an elaborate catfishing scheme orchestrated by minors who... Judge Henderson held up one hand. Counselor, I've reviewed the 40-page evidence packet submitted by the respondents. Please don't insult the court's intelligence. Our attorney presented the case methodically. Kimberly and Stacy had organized everything with surgical precision. Network traffic logs showing Warren's 8-month affair and financial planning with Lisa. Screenshots of Warren's messages on wealth migration forums, bragging about his escape plan and cutting dead weight. Bank records proving he systematically drained accounts without co-owner consent, including a 529 plan meant for his minor children. The fake portal's legal disclaimers, all compliant, never explicitly promising returns, all within legal bounds. proof that the educational trust was legitimately structured and federally protected. Judge Henderson examined the documents, then looked at Kimberly. Ms. Carter, you built this entire system while maintaining a 4.0 GPA and competing in national robotics competitions? Yes, Your Honor, Kimberly answered. Ethics in technology matter to me. I could have done something illegal, but I didn't. I built something that was both just and lawful. Warren's attorney tried once more. But, Your Honor, the girls deceived. They protected themselves from documented theft, Judge Henderson interrupted. She turned to Warren. Mr. Carter, do you dispute that you drained a college fund designated for your daughter's education? Warren looked at his hands. No, Your Honor. Do you dispute that you maxed out credit cards in your wife's name without her knowledge? No, Your Honor. Do you dispute that you abandoned your family to pursue a relationship with a woman 20 years your junior, using stolen funds? Silence. Judge Henderson's ruling was swift and comprehensive. Full legal and physical custody granted to Carolyn Carter. The $262,580 trust transfer validated and made permanent, accessible only for Kimberly and Stacy's educational expenses. Warren ordered to pay $22,000 in security and emotional damages to Kimberly and Stacy Carter. Warren prohibited from contacting the minors until their 21st birthdays, unless they initiate contact. Warren required to undergo financial counseling and therapy. The judge removed her glasses and looked directly at Warren. Mr. Carter, your daughters didn't ruin your life. You did. They simply refused to let you ruin theirs. What they accomplished was not revenge. It was self-preservation through intellect. She paused. I'm making this trial transcript available to their college applications as a demonstration of critical thinking, ethical problem-solving, and remarkable maturity under duress. Warren left the courtroom alone, shoulders hunched, while spectators whispered and pointed. In the parking lot, I hugged both daughters, tears streaming down my face. I'm so proud of you, and so sorry you had to carry this burden alone. We weren't alone, Stacy said, squeezing me tight. We had each other. And we knew you'd have fallen apart if you'd known, Kimberly added gently. We needed your reactions to be genuine so Dad wouldn't suspect. You played your part perfectly. I laughed through my tears. My part was being clueless? Your part, Stacy corrected, was being the mom who taught us that doing the right thing matters more than doing the easy thing. 4 months later, we sat on a spa resort terrace overlooking the ocean, real ocean, not stolen tropical paradise. The afternoon sun was warm, and the sound of waves was peaceful. You know what's funny? Stacy said, sipping her mocktail. Using Dad's court-ordered damages payment for this spa weekend was Kimberly's idea. Seemed appropriate? Kimberly shrugged, grinning. My phone buzzed. 2 emails arrived simultaneously. I opened the first. Dear Ms. Carter, congratulations. We are pleased to offer Kimberly Carter admission to MIT's engineering program with a full merit scholarship. The second. Dear Ms. Carter, we are delighted to offer Stacy Carter admission to Stanford University's psychology program with a full merit scholarship based on her demonstrated problem-solving abilities. I showed them the screens, and we all screamed, hugging each other, drawing stares from other spa guests. Another text came through, this one from my mother, Deborah. The trust is earning 6% interest annually. Current balance, $278,150. Your girls will graduate completely debt-free. I'm so proud of all of you. Kimberly raised her mocktail glass. To bad fathers making strong daughters. Stacy lifted hers. To Mom, who taught us right from wrong even when wrong was easier. I raised mine, tears blurring my vision. To my brilliant girls, who taught me that sometimes justice requires creativity. We clinked glasses as the sun set over the water. Warren's shadow, once so consuming, had finally disappeared completely. We were free. We were whole. And we were, against all odds, exactly where we were supposed to be. If this story gave you chills, if these girls restored your faith that justice can win, do me a favor. Like this video, subscribe to the Formidable Revenge channel, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment telling me, would you have done what Kimberly and Stacy did? Sometimes the best revenge is not just getting even, it's getting smart. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.